The September 24th, 2024 meeting of the Transportation Committee will now come to an order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Bonnick. Ms. Bonnick is present. Chairman Burgess.
Here.
Chairman Burgess is present. Mr. Colby. Here. Mr. Colby is present. Ms. DeFlorio. Ms. DeFlorio is present. Ms. Hugh Smith. Ms. Hugh Smith is present. Mr. Keller. Mr. Keller is present.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone present who is not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? No? All right, so we have Cody Donahue, Director of Policy and Advocacy for Reconnect Rochester, will now give a brief presentation.
Thank you, Chair Burgess, and thank you, members of the Transportation Committee, for taking time out of your busy agenda to hear from Reconnect Rochester. As the Chair said, my name is Cody Donahue. I'm the Director of Policy and Advocacy for Reconnect Rochester. And I would also like to thank Director Fries from Monroe County DOT for his and his team's collaborative approach to working with us on issues of traffic safety in Monroe County. If you could advance the slide. So if you don't know Reconnect Rochester, for the past 15 years or so, we have worked to champion transportation choices for all residents of Monroe County. And we envision a future where transportation choices connect our vibrant communities across the county and give everyone, regardless of their physical and economic ability, choices on how they can get around. If you could advance the slide, please. And there are numerous reasons why we focus on this work. Last month, I was here before you to speak on the environmental reasons why we promote a variety of transportation alternatives, but we also do it for community health, for social equity. There are economic benefits to having transportation choices. But the topic that I'm going to mostly focus on tonight is traffic safety, some of the issues and challenges that we would like to engage with the legislature, and we continue the conversation each month with our colleagues in the county, planning, sustainability, Department of Transportation, and traffic safety on these important issues of safety. So next slide. Last year, the City of Rochester completed its active transportation plan in conjunction with the Monroe County Active Transportation Plan, and unfortunately, it painted a pretty stark picture of safety when it comes to getting around our county, regardless of the mode of transportation. Per capita, we are the most dangerous place to travel around, irrespective of mode, compared to our sister cities in upstate New York. Next slide, please. And we actually, at Reconnect Rochester, drill down to the level of each individual crash. We get the information, we foil the information to analyze what happened, what was the primary reason for the crash, and we compile information onto a Monroe County crash map. And that map has been updated with 2023 data that was obtained from New York State DOT. And we're most concerned with what we call the vulnerable road user, the person that is outside of the vehicle. And unfortunately, the United States as a whole is on an upward trend when it comes to pedestrian fatalities. People walking, it's increased by 75% since 2010. In Monroe County, we have counted 5,132 crashes from 2014 to 2023. That's the latest data, involving people bicycling, walking, and there's at least one person roller skating that's actually in that data. And of those, 2,279 resulted in an injury or a fatality. So when we calculate that on a per year basis, we find on average 13 people die on our streets, and that's irrespective of jurisdiction. That's all jurisdictions included as a result of these crashes. However, in 2023, the number for that year was 20. It was 5 people biking and 5 people walking, 15 people walking who were killed as a result of crashes. And unfortunately, this trend is not improving. We are mirroring what's happening nationally compared to the last 10-year period of 2013 to 2022. There were actually 130 fewer crashes in this most recent 10-year data involving bicycles and pedestrians, but there was an 8% increase in injuries and fatalities. So fewer crashes, but greater severity. And there have been a lot of media outlets working on trying to explain that. Very good series in the New York Times Magazine a couple months ago, some work in The Economist this month that are trying to analyze the different factors, vehicle weight, driver behavior, things like that. And it is really a mixture of different factors that lead to this. Next slide, please. But one thing that we know makes a huge difference in terms of surviving a crash with a car for a person walking is the speed. So that is why you might hear Reconnect Rochester talking about speed limits and speed limit reductions. When a vehicle is traveling at 40 miles an hour, there's an 85% chance that that person will not survive the crash as a pedestrian. And that chance of survival really increases greatly when the vehicle is traveling at 20 miles an hour. It's only 5% chance that that person will die. Next slide, please. You know, and it's difficult sometimes for us to kind of step back and look at this in terms of a broader trend that needs action because we see it in the headlines every day. It's become normalized that cars crash into each other and that people are hurt, injured, sometimes seriously altering their life course, or in the worst case scenario that they've died. Next slide, please. There's also an equity component to this, as with many of the challenges we face. Roughly 11% of Monroe County residents live in racially or ethnically concentrated areas of poverty, yet 3 times of the number of pedestrian crashes over the last decade occurred in those areas. So those are the challenges that we face. Again, a lot of good collaborative work going on with county departments on this. We're looking forward to your collaboration on solutions. Next slide. We do have some solutions that we, from advocate perspective, are working on. These are part of you might hear the safe systems approach. It's an approach to traffic engineering to create safe roads. There are federally approved safety countermeasures, a lot of which is going in and are part of designs that are currently being built. And those include roadway designs, complete streets that balance all users and prioritize safety for vulnerable road users. But we also, of course, love to see connected, safe, and protected and predictable bike lanes that are going to travel to destinations that people need to get to or want to get to. And, of course, sidewalks and sidewalks for active transportation, bus and transit stops built with people accessing them by foot in mind. And a big part of our work, you might have seen the yellow signs out there, the Drive to Be Better campaign that the county now holds, and educating the drivers around the community of what it means to travel at a safe speed and not put other people in harm's way. Next slide, please. So I'm not from Rochester, I'm from a small town in Oregon. And I know that small towns can also have a lot of challenges with road fatalities. We had US Highway 20 going through my town. It's funny, it actually continues out here to New York, where I live now. But complete streets are also important for small towns to be able to address challenges with transportation. They are often farther away from places that they need to get to for amenities. And so how can, there's a lot of guidance out there in the federal level that locally we have access to through our partners to bring complete streets to small towns as well. There are just 3 plans I'll wrap up with, 3 plans that I want to make sure you're aware of. Next slide. In the city of Rochester, in June, Mayor Evans announced the Rock Vision Zero initiative. It's the goal of eliminating traffic fatalities and serious injuries. That's whether you're driving or an active transportation person. And there are things in that plan that we are absolutely, partnering with Monroe County on, everything from the traffic safety champions and the education work to building the bike network out, and as well as looking at speeds and signals. Next slide, please. The second plan that I know you're aware of is the active transportation plan. We are looking forward to collaboration on the study that's going on now to to specify the roads that active transportation networks should be built on, kind of building off of that active transportation plan. And we're really excited to see the projects that are currently underway, for example, on Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. Next slide. And finally, the most recent development in the county, the community-wide climate action plan. We see transportation as the largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the county. That's not uncommon. That's similar to a lot of counties around the country with large metropolitan areas. And we feel that there is going to be a need for some mode shift to get more people leaving their car at home, at least for 1 or 2 trips a week. And the studies have found that this is actually an economic driver. For every dollar invested in the active transportation networks, we get $5.50 in return, factoring in public health improvements, reduced air pollution, and traffic congestion. So my last slide here is the role of the legislature. I just want to congratulate you on the 2021 law, Kerry's Law, for defining a safe passing distance in Monroe County of at least 3 feet. That puts Monroe County in line with 44 states that have passed a defined distance of someone outside the vehicle, how close the car can pass them. Unfortunately, at the state level, New York State has not yet defined that 3 feet. It is still currently safe distance, which is awfully subjective in my mind. So that's advocacy we're doing at the state level. We are cognizant of the role of the legislature on budgeting for active transportation and providing full support to implementing the recommendations that are in the active transportation plan and the further study that will be conducted. And then, I just wanted to encourage you all in your role overseeing or reviewing projects that we refer back to all the relevant policies that have been established in the county regarding complete streets to ensure that we are consistently building the facilities that we've made the commitment to build for people who are not in the vehicle. So with that, again, thank you for your time. I'm available for any questions, follow-up meetings, and I look forward to our continued partnership.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the June 24th, 2024 minutes of the Transportation Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Clarify the attendance.
We did. Yeah.
Madam Clerk.
Referral 24-0290, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Brockport for the West Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project, partially funded through Monroe County. Appropriate committed fund balance and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by Legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by Legislator Bonnick. Is there any discussion? Legislator Colby.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, with the approval of all the bicycle lanes that we're approving tonight and the ones we've approved in the past, Is there approximate dollar value that's left in the fund balance for the sidewalk funds program?
Mr. Chairman, remaining balance is approximately $6.17 million.
Thank you.
That it? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0292, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Mendon for the Mile Square Road Sidewalk Extension Project, partially funded through Monroe County, appropriate committed fund balance, and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0294, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Brighton for the Allens Creek Road, Edgewood Avenue, Elmwood Avenue, and Westfall Road Sidewalk Extension Project, partially funded through Monroe County. Appropriate committed fund balance and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Are there any discussions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0295, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Chili for the Paul Road Sidewalk Project, partially funded through Monroe County. Appropriate committed fund balance and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Are there any discussions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0296, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Riga for the Gilman Road Sidewalk Project, partially funded through Monroe County. Appropriate committed fund balance and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Are there any discussion? None? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0297, authorize a cooperation agreement with the City of Rochester to provide funding to city street projects.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Are there any discussions? Yes, legislator DeFlorio.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, can you provide any examples of specific streets that this would apply to?
Yes, through the chair, I believe our most recent one was North Goodman Street. Some other ones we have programmed in the past for South Ave and Elmwood Avenue in 2017, Broadway and Union, 2019 to 22 funds, Genesee Street.
Thank you. So what percentage would you say of city roads would this intermunicipal agreement apply to through the chair?
There, it's pretty much, and for the most, it's got to be like a higher end arterial street for the city. I don't have the exact breakdown of how many arterials they have versus total centerline miles, but it's got to be a more robust roadway that we would consider.
Thank you. And through the chair to the administration, can we be provided with a copy of the updated agreement?
Through the chair, yes.
I yield.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other items to come? We have one more? Uh-oh. All right, next item.
Referral 24-0301, acceptance of a federal and state aid for the operation and maintenance of the James R. Pond Regional Traffic Operations Center.
Moved by legislator Hugh Smith, seconded by legislator Bonnick. Are there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters now to come before the committee? None? All right. There being no other matters, the September 24th, 2024 meeting of the Transportation Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Transportation Committee will be held on Tuesday, October 22nd.